Now, what makes a sport more appealing? Utmost domination by one individual, of course, or teams and players giving each other a run for their money? To put it simply, what do you enjoy watching more, a rivalry or a one-sided supremacy? Now, I always enjoy rivalries more. Nothing is more exciting than not knowing who will win on a given day. Can you imagine La Liga without the derbies between Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, or cricket without the Ashes or age-long clashes between India, Pakistan, England and Australia? Or you can't, right? The same goes with tennis. There is beauty in individual rivalries. It brings the characters of the athletes to the fore. The personalities clash more than ideologies, as with teams. And that's what makes such amazing contests. It's time to speak about the new rivalry in men's tennis, the battle that is pitched as fire and ice, the new rivalry that has taken center stage and given us all enough excitement already. Jannik versus Carlos Alcaraz. On the one hand is a Spaniard, sort of like the man to carry Rafael Nadal's baton forward. He's the quintessential bull, the raging opponent. He's full of fire, and the way he plays symbolizes that. Carlos Alcaraz burst onto the scene with the reputation of one who doesn't give up, much in the mold of his predecessor. A player banking on his power. He won the US Open in 2022, not a shocker. Hard, combative skills on a hard court. A winner straight away. But it was when Alcaraz won Wimbledon in 2023 is when people started taking him seriously. Because not only did Alcaraz, a product of clay, won a title on grass, but he did so beating Novak Djokovic in a 5-set thriller. And that too at the age of 19. So yes, there has been enough excitement surrounding the Spaniard. So that's his strengths. What about the weakness or the challenges? His consistency. How fit can he be given the rigorous display he puts his body through? Much like his mentor, Rafael Nadal. If that is fire, what about the ice? Jannik has been a find, a super talent who is proving himself regularly on the biggest stage. He's another youngster, all of 22 years, but the kind of maturity and balance that he brings to the table is incredible to see. The Italian has been on the circuit for some time now, and he made it to the quarterfinals of the French Open way back in 2020, a US Open semi-finalist in 2022, and a Wimbledon semi-finalist the year later. Clearly, he was patiently chipping away before he made that big leap at the start of the year, winning the Australian Open in the most dramatic fashion. He beat Novak Djokovic on the way to a very, very thrilling, nail-biting final against Daniil Medvedev. And the weekend is going to witness these two superstars face off at the Indian Wells Masters event. How did the two get here? Carlos Alcaraz comfortably beat Alexander Zverev 6-3, 6-1 in the quarterfinals. Well, maybe not too comfortably. Their match was halted by a swarm of bees. Bees invaded the court in the 19th minute, forcing the players to run for cover, and it did get a little scary for a bit, but as soon as match resumed, Alcaraz went about it business as usual. Jannik too had a straight-set victory over Czech Republic's Jiří Lečeka in the quarterfinals. The blockbuster semi-final will decide which star will be number 2. Alcaraz is currently holding that position, and Sinner is number 3. But here's what happens when you compare the two. Sinner has had the most flawless year so far. He's won all 16 of his matches in 2024. That included the Australian Open and the Rotterdam Open titles. And in the Indian Wells Masters too, he hasn't dropped a single set just yet. And here's more cause for concern for the Alcaraz fans out there. Let's take a look at the head-to-head. Sinner has won 6 encounters, where Alcaraz has won 4. And of course, if you compare surfaces, Sinner has the edge there too. So quite the contest this is turning out to be. Their road to get here in this super showdown has also been adverse. Alcaraz has had a series of injuries that has marred his path to being consistent, something we of course mentioned. It's been over 6 months since Alcaraz last reached a final of any major tournament, and close to 8 months since he last won a trophy. So if the pressure was going to be on one of the two, it will be on the Spaniard. But here's the one thing Alcaraz will be holding on to while he walks onto the court this Saturday: the memory of him beating Sinner at this very tournament last year and at the semi-finals. So if Sinner has the nerves of protecting his spotless 2024 record, Alcaraz will be fighting a head-to-head record that is not in his favor. So lots to play for, and another delicious chapter in this rivalry waiting to unfold.